Oh, Mr. Man. Looking very prim and proper up there. How you doing? I know we got a big day tomorrow, so something that I always do, in addition to doing the working on a little bit of obedience as per your request, I always do go home notes. So that's just a little bit of what our exit session is going to look like. Excuse me. There we go. A little bit of what our exit session is going to look like. A little bit of our expectations, and then training regimen going forward. So ideally, our session would look a lot like this. Relaxed dog, clicking and treating quite a bit. Now I want, in the beginning, I'm going to be clicking and treating to show, for example, what I want you to do, but I do want you to get as involved in the session as you can more quickly than not, so that he has the association of trainer being present while you're working, so he gets used to that transfer of leadership to you. So I do want you to take over the clicker pretty early, but I'll start everything. We'll go through our signals. We always start with some type of work when we get there. So when we show up, he's going to be really excited to see you. My best advice there, unless he approaches very calmly and 4 on the floor, that's fine. But if he pulls on the leash and he jumps up a little bit, maybe he barks, we're going to do no touch, no talk, no eye contact. So we're just going to ignore him, plain and simple. And then we're going to go about bringing him to an area where we can work. So if you can get something for him to work on, a cot, a dog bed, something like that, and let's get that into an area where we can work one-on-one with him there. So we'll start by reacclimating him to your home via a training standpoint, as opposed to love, 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 affection, 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 and then his threshold, right, becomes surpassed and he gets a little crazy. We want to do our best to manage our overexcitement, manage our emotions in order to set him up to succeed. We want to make it as easy on him as possible, right? So ideally, an area that we can get to and start working on whatever his new place is going to be, we'll start there. We'll run our commands, probably about 5 or 6 of them. I would say that always, 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 what takes longer out of all these commands will be the down command, especially with the way we work. We want our dogs really excited when they're working, and down is a very calm, submissive posture, so it can be a little bit confusing when you're asking for a high energy situation to ask a dog to do that. So that one will take some more practice, but we'll at least run majority of our commands. I'm going to show you right now what all those signals look like without delivering the exact commands for them, so as not to desensitize him to the noises themselves. So we're going to start here. That's our place command. SIT is up. Down is the opposite of that. Watch, our eye contact command, is here. Stay is here, and our recall command is here. All right, so feel free to rewind that, replay that as many times as you need, but those are the signals for our commands. We're largely reliant on shaping and luring still, as opposed to just like full-on directive commands, which will be things that he understands in due time, but that's further on down the road, a couple of years. Right now we're still just kind of shaping, right? So what does that look like? If you remember, shaping is going to be using our positive marker, so it's going to be using our clicker, and it's going to be using treats, right? And we always have the treats cupped in the same hand that we're going to be delivering the commands in, so that we can lure him and shape him. into responding as to how we wish, and then once the desired response is obtained, we click our conditioned stimuli, and then we provide him with a reward. Tomorrow will definitely be, we will definitely be rewarding via pay, meaning treats, but as he gets better and better with it, you're going to want to drop off the treats a little bit, keep them sparse, and you're going to want to pay, or you're going to want to reward with pets of praise. So, as you can see, hopefully you can see from there, maybe not, perhaps not. He's been a gentleman the entire time I've given my speech. So now we're going to, you know, if you can see from there, yeah, I believe you can. We're going to do some work. If he wants to place on there, we can place on there. So now if we want to recall him from here, remember, our recall is going to be down here. I would start with something more movement-based before we get him into the positions. Oh, and then just to finish up, after we work on the obedience tomorrow, we'll talk about negative markers, so how we counteract disobedient acts, and then we'll talk about leash walking, and then anything else that you might have questions on. The only other cues outside of our obedience cues will be the walking cues, so that'll be the heel for the walk, the stop commands for the walk, the free commands for the walk, and then there will be the cues related to his crate, which also does utilize free when he's exiting the crate, but it utilizes a different command when he goes in. We just say bed when he goes in. So all in all, you have quite a few commands. In addition to just the positive and negative markers, you have sit, down, stay, place, watch, here, which is your recall, heel, free, bed, right? So quite a few commands to memorize, but we'll go through all of those. And that'll be kind of be the order. And then once we're kind of finished up working the initial obedience stage and we're just kind of going on and discussing more, that's when, you know, after he's burned off some steam in a productive manner via doing some obedience work, that's when we can kind of more loosen up and say our hellos again and show him a little bit more attention. But in the beginning, we want to reserve our attention until he earns it through working. Otherwise, he's just going to think, I'm back home, I get attention for free, and then you got to bribe him back into working. So we'll start with the working, and then we'll say our hellos again after he is deadlocked down in the streets. Watch. Yes. Oh, you got a lot of slobber. Stay. Here. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good place. He's ahead of me. Sit. Watch. Oh, good job. Like I said, DONN is always trickier. We'll try and work that. I would try and reserve that for working at a time where he's a little bit more calm. Stay, if you noticed, does not get the click right away because we're not clicking until what? The command is achieved. And yes, he is staying, but if I were to click, that would mean the ending of the command, and I don't want him to think I only stay for a portion and then I leave. Right? And then the recall, a little bit similar. We can vocally encourage him, like when he made the right gesture towards recalling, but we're not going to click until he makes contact with our actual hand, because that is the completion of the command, right? Here. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Here. Yeah. So he's got a little bit of a reluctance to perform the recall. Place. Sit. Watch. Oh, that was down, but good job. Good down. Good down. Very good down. That's quick. He has a little bit of a reluctance to the recall command, but that is not an act of disobedience. If anything, that is a sign of a higher level of obedience. That's him just wanting to double check if he can break the place, whether or not he can break the place at that time, right? So it's just a little bit of hesitation, positively reinforce him through that, and then, you know, again, once he finally gets to you, that's the click moment. But otherwise, that was really fast and good. So remember, we're going to reserve with the clicker for the stay. Really, we just want to focus on that forward pressure to kind of reserve the body language, right? Reserve the body in that spot via positive body language, right? Stay. Yep. Yeah! Good dude. Good job, my man. Place. Great job. Sit. Yeah. Down. Yes. Watch. Oh yeah. Stay. Look at this champion here. Yep. Oh, good job. Yes. Yes. Wow, you're professional. Professional dog. Good boy. And then when we're finished, I know this is just a micro session, but really it's with all the talking, you know, let's say you were working this entire time, it's not much longer. You want your obedience sessions to be 10 to 15 minutes. Keep them really short. Keeps them highly motivated, and it keeps it fun and interesting for them. It doesn't allow it to get to a point where it's monotonous and repetitive, and if you get to a point like that, he's going to lose his drive for obedience, right? Good boy. And remember, when we're finished, that's why I grabbed this handful here, it's the FREE. We show our hands, relinquish him from the session, right? Free. Okay. Good boy. Even though he was free, he needed a little extra encouragement because he was really trying to hold that place, which is fantastic. I'd rather him have the obedience in the front of his mind than impulse, right? That's what we've really worked on here, is to try to get that impulse control under control. So, yeah, there's more there. He's not sure if he can have them all, but he definitely can. I'll let him figure it out. You know, I gave him a little bit of encouragement after I gave him the free, just to let him know he can come down. But again, he is FREE now, so if he wants to go back up, he can go back up. If he wants to grab a couple treats, leave some for later, he can do as he pleases. I want him to stop focusing so much on me, which you mentioned in the video the other day in response to the video, how to get him to do that. This would be a great way to do that. Forage feeding would be a great way to get him to lose that hyper focus on us and go, hey, you know what, I can kind of ignore this person and go do my own thing. And to touch on what to do with the demand barking behavior, that's going to be our negative marker. Okay, demand barking needs to be something that is committed, highly repetitive, and of a certain tone that communicates to us it's differentiating from regular bark, right? Dogs are going to bark. So if they're doing that during play and it's not directed at a dog and it's not repetitious and it's not of a higher pitch, then I'm not really going to correct for that. But if it is something that is all those categories, that's going to be something I would deem excessive and that he should know is over the top. Like, there is a limit to how much you can bark, and once he gets there, that's going to be our negative marker, which I cannot say in the way I would normally say it because he's not doing anything wrong. But that's the TST noise, the tss noise, but way louder, the compressed air sound. It's going to be that, and then you can even put in a little bit of forward pressure body language, right? So I usually have both a visual and an auditory cue for everything that I do. I do have that for my negative markers as well. So there's like sending into the crate, that's very similar to place as you saw here. But you know, if he gets them all down vocally, you know, the hand signals can subside. There are a few times where he just placed with vocals there. So there are some times where you won't need the forward body pressure for the negative markers. That would be the cue for it as well, hand signal wise. If he's barking, 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 and I want him to stop, I'll do the TST noise pretty loudly, confidently, strong tone, and then I forward pressure, right? So it's like, oh, clear as I can possibly be. Got a bee flying around my head. I've gave him the command in multiple ways. I've given it vocally, I've given him a hand signal for it, and I've given body pressure, right? So as many things as we can to be as clear, communicatively as we can in those moments, the better, right? The ultimate goal when he's demand barking is to disrupt and then introduce better behavior. So once he does become disrupted with the signal, the body pressure, and the TST, the vocals, we want to say, good boy, thanks for listening, right? We want to mark the fact that he listened and give him something to do. If he's demand barking, he wants attention. But not always are we capable of giving that attention, as I'm sure you know, right? So give him something else to do. He's just saying he's bored. He's just saying he's understimulated. Give him a Calm with peanut butter. Give him, forage feed. Scatter some treats around a dog place, around a dog bed. Give him something where he can redirect his attention towards that and off of us. And then if what he wanted was our attention, I would still do the same thing, because what he learns from that is, well, that's not how I get it, right? And if we're only providing our dog with affection under the circumstances with which we deem him calm, then he's only ever going to be calm when he wants to get affection, right? He'll learn that very quickly. He's clearly learned that with me. He's being as calm as he can here. He was not hyper-focused on me either, though. Good boy. Good boy. He's just kind of chilling. And he forgot a couple treats, I think. He doesn't realize they're there. We'll drop a couple more. He thinks he's still in training mode, but that's all right. I'd rather have him think that than rely on impulses entirely. Here. Yeah. Good boy. Free. Now you can go about his business, all right? Let me know if you guys got any questions before tomorrow. We'll communicate here very shortly. We'll catch up and figure out a time that works well for both of us and everything. But really excited for him to get transitioned back, for you guys to learn everything. I think he really achieved just about all he could in this amount of time. And I think he definitely excelled, especially with the dogs. So we'll talk about future stuff, training, paths going forward. We'll get there tomorrow during our exit session. Good job, sir. We're going to miss you. We're going to miss you. Good boy. All right, guys, thanks.